DreamWorks Animation is known to make some of the most fantastic animation films, but the real question is, what are the top 10 DreamWorks animation films? Let's look into it. In number 10 we have Megamind, which scored a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDB and was released in 2010. It is about a supervillain who was named Megamind, and he defeats and kills his enemy and out of boredom creates a superhero who turns into a villain. Personally, I used to watch this film so much as a kid, but in the last 5 or 6 years, haven't really watched it that much, but I remember as a kid, this was such a fantastic film. It was pretty funny and a really, really good storyline, including a pretty good backstory to Megamind as well. At number 9, we have Fu Panda 2, which scored a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb and was released in 2011. If you've already seen the first Fu Panda, then you know a little bit about this story, but Po unveils a mystery of his own past and in the process takes it upon himself to foil the plans of a murderous peacock Shen. The Kung Fu Panda franchise was not one of those films that I've watched repeatedly over and over again. I mean, let's be real, I still haven't seen the fourth one. But from what I've seen from the first 3 films that I've watched, they're actually pretty good and honestly really, really fun to watch. I mean, personally, my favourite character was always Tigress, but can you blame me? In 8th place, we have How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, which scored a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb and was released in 2019. This is the third and final film of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, and personally, not my favourite How to Train Your Dragon film. I'm a huge fan of the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, and I always have been for as long as I can remember. The story is about Toothless, who is supposedly the last of his kind as a Night Fury, and he meets a Light Fury and falls in love. But it's a really, really nice story, but it's also pretty sad. The animation style was fantastic and has definitely improved. At number 7 we have Shrek 2, which earned a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb and was made in 2004. The 2 main characters are Shrek and Fiona. In the second film, they return from their honeymoon and Fiona's parents, who do not like Shrek at all, invite them over. I'll be so real. I haven't watched the Shrek films as much as I probably should. At number 6 we have the first Kung Fu Panda, which scored a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb and was made in 2008. And it's about a panda who we know as Po, is extremely enthusiastic about Kung Fu, and he gets chosen to be the Dragon Warrior. The first Kung Fu Panda, in my opinion, is probably one of the best. At number 5 we have How to Train Your Dragon 2. It has a score of 7.8 on IMDb and was released in 2014. Probably one of my favourite films within the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. Vikings and dragons have domesticated well together, and there's a new villain who's a little bit of a psycho and kind of wants to, take over. Hiccup and Toothless, the 2 main characters, have to work together to defeat him. At number 4 we have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which scored a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and was made in 2022. In my opinion, this is the best Puss in Boots film. To put it in simple terms, it's basically about Puss in Boots has 9 lives because he's a cat, and he's used all 8 lives and he has 1 life left. There's a pretty scary wolf guy and he wants to take Puss's last life. The animation on it and the visuals were just fantastic. At number 3 we have the first Shrek film, which scored a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb and was made in 2001. It's basically about a grumpy ogre who we all know as Shrek, who is exiled, and to return home safely and get his land back, he has to go on a quest and rescue a princess. Never really a Shrek fan growing up, but I still know a little bit about the films, and the first Shrek film is so good and it sets a really, really good story. The second most popular DreamWorks animation film is the first How to Train Your Dragon film with a solid 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and it was made in 2010. It's about a pretty weak boy who is able to train a dragon and go against all of the Viking ways. If you're watching it for the first time, you don't actually know what's going to happen yet. Me, I've seen this movie a billion times, I know exactly what's going to happen. Finally, the number 1 spot for the best DreamWorks animation film is The Wild Robot, which scored a fantastic 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb and was made in 2024 this year. It's about a robot who crashes on an island, and at first this entire island hates her, but she still raises a baby gosling and becomes friends with a fox. This film was absolutely mind-blowing. The visuals are still fantastic to see. Now that we've seen the first 10 DreamWorks animation films, do you think that a film deserved to be higher than this? Personally, I was really hoping to see Rise of the Guardians on this list. What films do you think should have been on this list?